So in 2019, we will have foldable smartphones. Foldable smartphones are just huge smartphones with huge tablet-sized displays that you can use and enjoy. And when you want to move around with it, you can just fold it into the size of a smartphone and slip it in your pocket and move around with it. Okay, so about a week ago at the Samsung Developers Conference, Samsung kept the promise they made way back in 2014 when they first teased that first foldable smartphone we saw in this video. And then they followed up with a couple of puns, a couple of teasers here and there. And then now, finally, 1 week ago at the Developers Conference, this happened.
Today is a big milestone. And I'm sure you're all wondering what it looks like in real life and how it works. Well, want to know more? It's finally here. When it's open, it's a tablet, offering a big screen experience. Thank you.
So that, what you've seen there, is quite obviously an unfinished prototype, still very rough around the edges. You've seen those huge bezels. That display looks like it's kind of flickering and looks very unstable at the point where it bends. And although Samsung claims they'll be mass producing this in the next few months, I think it will take some time for it to get to that masterpiece we saw in that ad in 2014. They were actually very keen at the event to kind of hide the general design of the phone. They were just interested in showing us how the phone folds and how that display folds, so they dim the lights. And to achieve this, Samsung is using a very thin, flexible OLED panel. They're calling it the Infinity Flex display. I think the whole idea here is to have a sort of a smartphone tablet combo kind of thing, where you can have this big display, and when you want to move around with it, you can just fold it into a size of a smartphone like this and just carry it around. I'm not quite sure who this is for, like who they're targeting with this kind of design, but the technological advancement that's being on display here is absolutely next level. And by the way, Samsung is not even the first company to announce a foldable smartphone. There's another one by a company called Royale Corporation. They announced their own foldable smartphone called the Royale Flexpai. Their foldable smartphone bends or folds in the opposite direction, leaving the display out and exposed, which I thought was an interesting implementation there, kind of, borderline damn design. But it just goes to show you that foldable smartphones is no longer just talk and blubbering, it's a thing now. And the fact that Android also announced support for foldable smartphones is really establishing that point. And I'm sure developers will get on their horses ASAP and try to take advantage of these foldable displays and foldable smartphones and all that stuff. So I can't wait to see what developers have in store for us for this new technology. And we've always known that Samsung are very good with all the displays. They make the best displays on any smartphone. In fact, they make displays even for Apple and other smartphone companies. And for a company as big as Apple to take on this concept head on really keeps everyone else on their toes and sends chills down the spines of other companies like Apple and Huawei. There are two main ways of looking at this whole foldable smartphone concept, this whole design thing, and why a company as big as Samsung is very keen on being the first, huge company with a reputation to indulge in this whole foldable smartphone thing. Number one is Samsung is leading the way for other companies in just giving consumers what they want, just pushing technology to the limits to give consumers what they want. We've always wanted these huge displays, these infinity displays. That's why we get pushing for bezel-less smartphones for the last few years. And now Samsung might have found a way of giving us what we want, and not forgetting that these phones need to be carried around, these phones need to fit in our pocket. So they make these huge displays that when you want to carry them around, you can just fold them and slide them in your pocket, caring about the user's wants and the user's needs. Number two, Samsung could also still be leading the way for other companies, other $1,000+ smartphone companies, to bring something new, something different, to sort of justify the amount of money that we pay for these phones. Especially because there's so much pressure from other companies like Huawei, other companies like OnePlus 6, who are just giving us more or less what these companies give us at even a fraction of the price, sometimes even less than 60% of the price. Get it? 60% of the price? 60%? OnePlus 60? That's a terrible joke. I think at this point it's a win-win for both parties. We get the big displays we've always wanted and still portable displays. And Samsung and other companies get to sell their phones at premium prices, I've heard the Samsung will be selling at 1,300 to 1,500 bucks. Good luck with that if people actually buy them. But it's an interesting concept that will be rolling out in 2019 and years to come. So let me know what you think about this whole concept. Let me know, would you buy a foldable smartphones, and what price is acceptable to you? Let me know. Let's talk down in the comment section below. But until the next one, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.